I feel like over the last few years, the term limiting beliefs has been popping up everywhere. But what does that mean and how can you get rid of them? Warning, this may get a little bit long, but I'm going to dive in here as getting a handle on this stuff will probably help you grow faster in your personal and business life than maybe anything else. Okay, let's dive in. So limiting beliefs are the things that we've been told, the thoughts or ideas that we accepted as truth. They can be things that we've heard, or they can be cultural things that have been passed down from one generation to another. Okay, imagine your mind is as a backpack. Now, you've been carrying it around your whole life. Over time, every experience and every word said to you adds a stone to that pack. Now, some stones are light and positive. They're telling you that you're capable, you're loved, you're amazing, you're beautiful, all these kinds of wonderful things. But others are heavier. They're the ones that say, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you'll never make it, money doesn't grow on trees, right? Over time, these heavy stones, they start to weigh us down. All these words start to form like walls in your mind, a reality for what is possible and what is not. For example, I grew up in a middle-class household. My dad was a successful engineer working at a Fortune 500 company. He made good money and we had everything we needed. But he was always super cautious with money. While we probably could have afforded it, we never hired house cleaners or lawn care services or anything else like that. Anything that we could do ourselves. Maybe this was because his parents and grandparents went through the Great Depression, or maybe because it just wasn't important to him, or maybe for some other reason. I don't know. But he was and still is extremely risk adverse. And he certainly holds a scarcity mindset around money. Now, imagine if we started seeing these limiting beliefs like bags of sand attached to a hot air balloon. It won't matter how much fuel we put into the balloon, right? It just won't get up off the ground until we start to loosen those sandbags. It's up to each of us to be able to shine a light on these limiting beliefs in our own lives. And when we can recognize them for what they are, we can begin to change them. Now, maybe you've always told yourself that you couldn't draw. You believed that and went through your whole life not drawing because you've always believed you couldn't. But I would be willing to bet what's more likely is you didn't spend much time drawing. Why would you if you were no good at it? So you avoid it. But in reality, drawing is a skill that can be improved upon with practice. Instead of saying, I can't draw, maybe pick up an art book and start telling yourself that you're capable of learning to draw. If you put the time into it, you will start to improve and probably break out of that mindset that you can't draw. Then guess what happens? Those sandbags, they start to loosen. The balloon starts to lift. The other day, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine from high school. We had reconnected over social media, and she lived in this town that I was investing in. And when she found out where one of my properties was, she said it was a dream of hers to live there. I told her it was a great area, and there were others available in the same neighborhood. In fact, one just had come on the market for X amount of dollars. Oh, I can't afford that, she said. Well, what if you could get a loan? I asked. Oh, they'd never give me a loan. Not for that, she said. Well, what if they did? I kind of prodded her, right? You could rent out a room to help pay for the mortgage, cover the extra costs. I kind of went on. Oh, I don't want to be a slave to my house, she said. Okay, at that point I stopped. Here's her dream house, not far from her budget, and she's being offered solutions on how to make it a reality. But her limiting beliefs are stopping her from believing that she could have it, and so she never pulls the trigger. Now, if you want to truly grow, you have to start becoming the author of your own life. You got to recognize those limiting beliefs and eliminate them. Realize that anything is possible. Stop telling yourself that you're not worthy of success or wealth or that money is bad. None of that is true. Changing these beliefs is not easy, but think of it like planting a tree. At first, it seems like nothing has happened, but with time and consistent watering, it grows roots that reach deep into the soil of your mind. Now, these new roots help you to weather storms. They stand tall and eventually it starts to bear fruit in the form of new opportunities, better relationships, and increased confidence. Look, limiting beliefs are a real thing. They're something that I've spent the last few years trying to recognize and rewrite myself. They're like weeds in a garden. Some of them I can eradicate quickly, and some are so deeply rooted that they're hard to even pull at. But as you start to see and dig up these limiting beliefs, a really cool thing starts to happen. You start to act differently too. And when you start to believe that you're capable, you take actions that reinforce that belief. And before you know it, you're doing the impossible.